65 Days of Horsemanship, day 282. Yeah, quite a nice day today. Definitely feeling like another day where I'm like slowly getting back in the vibe, which is really nice. Came up after work, came to Lawrence first, and we seem to be settling into a bit of a pattern now, which is, I think, nice. Like, I think the pattern is really what I was missing, because I'd kind of forgotten like how much actually it is just coming back and working on the same thing over and over again every day, and that was kind of making me anxious before, because I'd forgotten that that's how it is. And yeah, today kind of came up, went through the same pattern of behavior in terms of initial concern about scratching, walking past that, finding some good moments of curiosity about things other than the scratching, and then being able to approach and scratch in moments when the obsession wasn't there, and very quickly finding that after a few repetitions he wasn't really interested in the scratches that I was offering him. So that was super nice. And then yeah, I got to work a little bit on rocking areas for yields into a moment of curiosity. And I think the stress is a little high, but I'm able to like utilize it now, which is really good. Like, there were like these moments of him looking up from the grass because the midges are now like a little bit more distracting to him rather than like really obsessive. So that was good. Yeah, I think I can definitely feel under my hand that his skin is kind of twitching, which normally I'd kind of be like, oh, I think that's too much, I think I'm pushing it too much. But then I think because of the midges, his skin is doing that anyway. So I'm kind of trying to like ignore it and trust in the fact that he feels emotionally safe enough to make things more clear for me if he needs to. And like, you know, it comes back to that question, I think Elsa puts it a lot better. Like, is it getting better or is it getting worse? And it's not getting worse. Like, the twitching is there, but it's not getting better and it's not getting worse. So I'm kind of taking that to mean that it's nothing to do with what the game that I'm playing. Yeah, so I got in 3 different spots a good moment of curiosity that I was really happy with, and then I stepped away and then I got a sigh, so I left on the sigh, so that was really nice, just textbook. Then I went to get Mia, went and haltered. Haltering's getting better. Elsa showed me a little bit about that the last time that she was here, and I'm basically just kind of like trying not to mess around too much, to like be clear and kind of like quick in my actions, and then ready to like catch the moments of peace. So I think what I took from her, she's like super mouthy with the halter when I'm doing it, like trying to catch it in her mouth. And I think what Elsa was saying to me, what I took from what Elsa said to me when I saw her last, and she spoke with me a little about it, was that basically her quickness is her like irritation with me like not doing enough. And so yeah, so I've kind of taken that forward and just kind of like accelerated my speed of getting through the process of haltering, in order to be able to be in a good spot to reward a moment of peace together, and then start doing things again before she feels the need to like provoke me into doing things. So seems to be going well. Whether or not I took from that conversation what Elsa wanted me to take, I don't know, but it's getting better, so that's something. And then yeah, brought her up, played a little bit with the sideways from like zone 3, like from the shoulder, zone 2, zone 3, and yeah, kind of more focused rather than like the transitions like the way I was before, where it was like sideways to walk, sideways to halt, sideways to walk, sideways to halt. Now it's just like sideways till a good feeling, and then if it feels like that's enough energy for a walk, then we walk, and if it feels like I can turn that into a stop, then we turn it into a stop. So there's a little bit more freeform with the transition, just kind of following the flow a little bit more, because what I really want to enforce now is that there just is never a time when I move into her when we're playing dominantly and she doesn't yield. Because what happens is I then push into her, then she like gets all offended, and then there's like a whole tail swishy experience, whatever. And actually now it's just like, how can we just like move through this like as slowly and as calmly and as consistently and as politely as possible, just like, yeah, I know, but you just got to move over. I know, but you just got to move over. I know, but you just got to move over. And then when she moves over, it's like, yeah, beautiful. And then we can release. So that's really what I've been working on. Definitely, you know, it's not freedom-based training. It's like 100% dominant training. But my mindset, my energy is like super, super improved with it. Like I'm really happy with where I'm at now with this mindset of like, yep, I know. It's like we're at the gym. Like this is what we're doing today. These are the ideas that I have, and this is how it's going to be, and it's okay. Rather than like, you have to do this because I've given you the cue. It's just like a real difference in my like the approach of my body language, and there's still a lot to learn for sure. Like I'm still too reactive, I'm still too like rough, I'm still too quick, I'm still too sharp, but I'm just practicing consciously as I can to break that stuff down and make the small changes. Yeah, then I was able to take the halter off. I thought maybe she'd want to have a run around, but she didn't. So we then had a little bit of a conversation about going over to the mounting block, where she was like, I don't wanna. And I was like, well, you got two choices and you kind of know what they are. You can either go for a run or you can come with me. And so she's like, oh, I'll come with you. And she comes over. And then we had a whole conversation around the mounting block, where I was able to kind of use approach and retreat to actually get on using just the stick and not the halter, which was really nice. I was able to get on bareback and bridleless. It was again still dominance because I was using the stick to kind of add pressure, but actually as I went on with the pattern, she was offering more and more. So I would put my leg over, I would lean in until there was like a moment where she would like start to move away. Then I would like come back to having my leg in that place without the weight, and put a little pressure on and just wait. I would put the pressure on until she kind of moved back a little bit to where I wanted her to be before. And then I would stand there and just wait in flow until there was a moment of curiosity. And then I would take the leg off, have a couple breaths, put the leg back on again. And it started to be that when I would take the leg off, she would actually volunteer to move in closer to me. And so by the end, she'd volunteered to come right up next to me, which was super cool. So that felt like a really positive conversation to have between us, where she was engaging with the process. Again, like it's not freedom-based training, but I try to incorporate as much appreciation and awareness for her opinion as possible, and to be like, okay, I understand. If you're going to say no, that's no, and I get that. Let's try again, rather than like trying to push through it, which is an interesting balance. And then, yeah, I got on, did have to immediately be like, whoa, but she did take that. And yeah, then we had a nice little walk around, just kind of working on putting pressure on with my legs, and with my seat. I'm trying to time it when I know she's already going to be moving, so that I can just reinforce the position of my legs with her natural movement, and then trying a couple times to add movements and then just hold that pressure on until she naturally moved that way, and then release it immediately, which worked quite well a couple times. She didn't get too overwhelmed, I think, because I was a bit patient and just like put the pressure on, like, you know, the aids for turning left, and just waited while she's turning right and she's walking straight and she's ignoring, she's doing whatever. And then when she turns left, immediately I'm like, oh yeah, that was it. And then and so that worked really nicely. And she stopped and had like a really big yawn and a lick and chew, and so I got off then, which was really good, because then it was like a really nice association with the whole experience. Halted, back to the field, and yeah, had a little bit left in the tank, which was nice, just to spend a couple minutes a minute or so just being in flow, waiting for that next moment of just like her looking at me. She had a couple of sighs, it was nice, and then I left, which was nice. And like, it's just a minute, but like, just to have that in the bank left makes me feel like I'm getting back to who I was and where I was before, which is super nice. I definitely think that there's a curse in kind of living. I think in some ways I live in the present almost in the wrong ways. In that I am like obsessed with like today being the only day that ever was, and like everything that's happening today is like the most meaningful ever, and like, oh my god, it's a disaster because I feel like this today, and like that's how it always is, and this is terrible, and this is everything, and like everything's so catastrophic every day. But then after a few days and things get better, then I'm like, oh, it's just a journey after all. And I always go through that cycle, and I don't know how I get out of that. But yeah, as you can see, my voice is going again. Super irritating. We'll just have to see what it's like tomorrow. So yeah, but no, it was a good day. Really good day. Really good day. Happy, happy, happy.